Good afternoon. Welcome to Spectrum Television News at noon. I am Uyai MM. Come to you live from Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government orders night repairs on failed Lagos Otta Abeokuta Road. Governor Moino restates administration's determination delivering Ibom Deep Seaport project. In other news, President Trump announces 25% tariffs on any Iranian trade partners following protest crackdown. We'll bring you the details of these stories and more in a moment. Good afternoon and welcome to Spectrum Television News at noon. We begin the news at noon from the national scene, where the federal government has ordered the immediate commencement of palliative works on the Lagos Otta Abeokuta Road to address critical failures and restore traffic flow. The Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, gave the directive during an inspection of the federal highway linking Lagos and Ogun State. He said that although about 22 kilometers of the road were assessed, active intervention will focus on approximately 18 kilometers of the most distressed sections. He further explained that the federal government is already handling about 60 kilometers along the corridor, with construction being executed in phases based on urgency. The minister also attributed the failures on the road to unresolved concession issues and incorrect engineering parameters adopted during earlier construction. According to him, repair works will commence immediately, mostly at night, and with target sections that currently hinder the free movement of vehicles. In the meantime, the federal government has unveiled a comprehensive framework aimed at strengthening the maintenance and preservation of public assets across the country. The initiative is being driven by the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development through its Department of Federal Public Assets Maintenance, which has developed a framework containing standard operating procedures to ensure effective, uniform, and sustainable maintenance of federal public assets nationwide. As part of the rollout, the ministry has commenced engagements with ministries, departments, and agencies to facilitate the implementation of the SOPs, providing a harmonized approach to asset maintenance and preservation across the federal public service. In another development, the Nigeria Customs Service has announced the commencement of a new standard operating procedure for regulating courier companies operating under the delivered duty paid regime. According to the agency, the new framework provides a unified framework for registration, manifest submission, declaration valuation, clearance, delivery, and compliance monitoring in line with global best practices. In a statement by the NCS's spokesperson Abdullahi Meweda, courier companies intending to operate the DPP regime are requested to obtain a license from the NCS headquarters license and permit unit under the Tariff and Trade Department. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has restated his administration's commitment to completing all ongoing projects before the end of his first tenure in office. Governor Ino, who gave the assurance while declaring open a 2 weeks ministerial briefing held at the State Executive Council chambers, Government House Uyo, said the meeting was to front-load the state's priorities and set agenda for the continuous service the government is dedicated to providing in line with the Rise Agenda mandate of his administration. According to him, the 2 weeks daily ministerial briefing, which began yesterday the 12th, spanning to the 21st of January 2026, will feature presentations from members of the Executive Council, ministries, departments and agencies within the state, stressing that each commissioner is expected to come with his permanent secretary, delivery advisors, and other relevant officers of the ministry.
Today we are gathered here to front-load our priorities and set the agenda for the continuous service we have dedicated ourselves to providing in line with our mandates to the Akwa Ibom people. This exercise ensures that we begin early to deliver effectively on our mandate as encapsulated in the Arise Agenda. From today, the 12th of January to about the 21st, we'll be holding daily ministerial briefing sessions, taking presentations from members of the Executive Council, ministries and departments and agencies within the states. We currently have over 60 ongoing priority projects outside roads, and our focus is to complete these projects before the end of our first term.
Government House correspondent Jane Uwa reports that on the upcoming general election, Governor Eno charged council members to be prepared to show his administrative report cards to the public. He advised them to remain focused and ready to acquaint the public with the state's developments as evidence in their respective ministries. In the meantime, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has restated his administration's unwavering determination to delivering the Ibom Deep Seaport project, a critical infrastructure aimed at boosting the state's economy and transforming the region. Governor Moino stated this during the MOU signing ceremony between the state government and the consortium in Government House Uyo. Represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Prince Enobonwa, Governor Ino emphasized the project's significance, urging the consortium to work closely with the Akwa Ibom State Investment Corporation, AKICOP, the government's representative, to ensure its timely execution. The governor, who said the project is a necessity for the people of the state, added that his administration is fully committed to putting the necessary requirements in place to get it on course. He commended the organization for its interest in the project and commended former Petroleum Minister Tuekong Don Etiebit for being a part of the team and for working towards the actualization of the facility in the state. On his part, Etiebit scored the governor high in his visionary and impactful leadership, which he said has remarkably transformed the state for the better, and noted that the MOU marks a significant milestone in the project's development, which was first conceived in 2007. Also speaking, the chairman, chief executive officer of the consortium, engineer Esinwai Bekwe, appreciated the government for the confidence reposed in the company and assured the government of the consortium's readiness to deliver on its mandate, promising a collaborative approach to ensure the project's success. We move now to Africa, where 81-year-old Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni is seeking a seventh term in office after nearly 4 decades leading the East African nation, the vast majority of whose citizens have never known any other leader. Museveni came to power on a wave of optimism after leading insurgencies against autocratic governments. The 81-year-old president has acknowledged that some government officials have engaged in corrupt practices, but said all those who have been caught have been persecuted. The Kani political strategist has also cultivated foreign allies by embracing the security priorities of Western powers, deploying peacekeepers to hotspots such as Somalia and South Sudan, and welcoming huge numbers of refugees to Uganda. Still in Africa, Somalia says it has cancelled all agreements with the United Arab Emirates due to evidence the Gulf state is engaged in undermining Somalia's sovereignty, national unity, and political independence. The rift is reportedly due to the UAE's tacit support for Israel's recognition of the breakaway region of Somaliland as an independent state. Mogadishu said the cancellation applies to all federal agencies, related agencies, and regional administrations. On the foreign scene, United States President Donald Trump has announced a 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran. Trump, who has repeatedly threatened Iran with military intervention, said in a social media post that the new levies would immediately hit the Islamic Republic's trading partners who also do business with the United States. Sparked by economic grievances, the nationwide protests in Iran have grown into one of the biggest challenges yet to the theocratic system that has ruled the country since the 1979 Islamic Revolution ousted the Shah. Iranian authorities have blamed foreign interference for stoking the unrest and staged their own nationwide counter-rallies. Meanwhile, rights groups warned that the severed communications were aimed at masking a rising death toll. Still on the foreign scene, the White House has confirmed that Venezuelan opposition leader and Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado will meet President Donald Trump on Thursday. The visit comes just weeks after Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was seized in Caracas by U.S. forces. Reports say Trump declined to endorse Machado, whose movement claimed victory in 2024's widely contested elections, as its new leader. The U.S. instead backed Delcy Rodriguez, Maduro's former vice president. Recall that Machado said last week she hoped to thank Trump personally for the action against Maduro and would like to give the Nobel Prize to him. Still to come in the news. Osimhen to captain Super Eagles against Morocco in AFCON 2025 semi-final clash. Stay tuned for details of this and more in a moment. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned in now to conclude the news this hour. On our business news, the federal government has launched a new federal government of Nigeria savings bond offer targeting retail investors with competitive interest rates and low entry requirements. This is according to a document released by the Debt Management Office. The offer issued on behalf of the federal government pursuant to the Debt Management Office Establishment Act of 2003 and the Local Loans Registered Stock and Securities Act is aimed at encouraging savings among Nigerians while providing a safe investment option backed by the sovereign guarantee of the government. Under the offer, investors can subscribe to a 2-year federal government savings bond due 21st of January 2028, which carries an interest rate of 14.39% per annum, or a 3-year federal government savings bond due 21st of January 2029, offering a higher return of 15.39% per annum. The subscription window opened on Monday, the 12th of January 2026 and will close on Friday, the 16th of January 2026, with settlement scheduled for 21st of January 2026. Interest on the bonds will be paid quarterly, while principal repayment will be made in full at maturity. Still in business, the Nigerian Exchange Limited (NGX) has opened the new trading week on a positive note as strong buying interest across key stocks lifted total market capitalization by 745 billion naira, reflecting improved investor sentiment in the equities market. At the close of trading, the equities market capitalization rose to 104.5 trillion naira from 103.78 trillion naira recorded at the previous session, while the all-share index advanced by 946.61 points or 0.58% to close at 163,244.69 points from 162,298.08 points. Market activity also improved markedly. A total of 1.15 billion shares valued at 19.21 billion naira were traded in 59,326 deals, representing an increase of 84% in volume, a 4% rise in turnover, and a 35% improvement in the number of deals compared with the preceding trading day. On our health news, pharmacists have called on the federal and state governments to urgently integrate licensed pharmacists into primary health care centers across the country, citing growing concerns over medicine misuse, poor patient counseling, and weak drug management at the grassroots. They stated that the absence of pharmacists in many facilities, particularly in rural and underserved communities, has continued to undermine safe medication use and effective health care delivery. According to them, deploying pharmacists to primary health care centers would strengthen patient care, improve medication safety, and support disease prevention efforts. Still in health, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors (NARD) has urged the federal government to conclude the process of reinstating the dismissed resident doctors in Lokoja and to capture and implement outstanding professional allowances in the general budget, among other demands. In an interview with newsmen, the president of NARD, Dr. Mohammed Suleiman, expressed hope that the 15 demands of the association being discussed would be implemented this month. Suleiman further stated that while the government and some stakeholders often wanted the association to focus on a single demand, all 15 items were critical to the welfare of resident doctors and the health care system. Moving on to the world of sports, where Victor Osimhen will captain the Super Eagles in their semi-final encounter against the Atlas Lions of Morocco. Recall that the team's captain Wilfred Ndidi was suspended for the game due to card accumulation. Still in sports, Michael Carrick has agreed to become Manchester United's interim head coach, and former England assistant manager Steve Holland is said to be his number two. Jonathan Woodgate, Johnny Evans and Travis Beanon will also be part of Carrick's staff. The former United and England midfielder Carrick agreed a deal yesterday, with an announcement due today once the necessary paperwork has been signed. Recall that United sacked Ruben Amorim after 14 months on the 5th of January, and Darren Fletcher took charge as caretaker boss for 2 matches. Carrick will be in the dugout for Saturday's Premier League derby against Manchester City at Old Trafford. And to the world of entertainment, Nigerian filmmaker Funke Akindele's newly released movie has become the first Nollywood film to surpass 2 billion naira in cinema sales. The distributor, in a post on X, revealed that the new achievement makes Funke Akindele Africa's most commercially successful filmmaker, highest grossing producer, writer, and director in West Africa's history. And that's all we have for you on this bulletin. Do well to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. This has been Spectrum Television News at 12. I am Uyai MM. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.